The 49ers are changing right before our eyes. Is anybody paying attention? The Niners today isn't just about training camp or updates. I think we're actually watching the identity of the 49ers change in real time. Everybody's talking about injuries. Everybody's talking about Deebo. And people are talking about Ricky and his season-ending injury, which we will gloss over some of that. But I really think a lot of people are missing the bigger picture. First off, I appreciate everybody being here, but let's get right into it. We are going to talk about Ricky Pearsall first. Ricky Pearsall changes everything because nobody knows when he'll return, or even more so, if he will return. Is he going to be on the Niners this year, next year, at all moving forward? That's kind of a huge question. But the biggest question isn't, again, how long, is can the Niners trust him if they do move forward with him? We all know he hasn't played very many games. We all know he's been injury prone. He's developed some nicknames. People call him Ricky Glass, China Doll Pearsall. I mean, some of the names that I've heard for him are not exactly appealing. So, this is a huge, huge question of it. Does he stay on the team moving forward? But does this explain why Deebo is back? Was Kyle going to bring Deebo back anyway? Or was this only because of Ricky? Is Deebo being back simply insurance? Does John Lynch hope that Ricky will come back, or are they writing him off already? There's a lot of questions behind Ricky Pearsall's injury, and in all honesty, I think the guy is a great dude. He's got a great character, great personality. Seems like he's got great drive for the NFL, but is he actually able to be in the NFL, or is he more just a college guy? I know I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on Ricky, but there are questions there. Now, second, let's go into, hey, Deebo Samuel's back. I don't know how many people are exactly excited about this. Again, I think Deebo Samuel being back is more insurance against Ricky Pearsall being out for the season. But are you guys excited about Deebo being back? I really want your guys' input on this whole entire live because I have a lot of questions. 2 years ago, we moved on from Deebo. Everybody knows that. And so, was it desperation? Was it always a backup plan? Again, I asked earlier with the Ricky Pearsall thing, was Kyle going to bring Deebo back anyway? There's a lot of questions in this live. I really want to know your guys' input. But we watched Deebo last year or 2 years ago by gaining 20 pounds while he was on our team, and then kind of slowing down. He didn't have as many yards. He wasn't as productive. He only trots when he goes out there when he knows he's not getting the ball. So there's a lot of questions, at least for me, around Deebo Samuel. Did he get too comfortable in our team? It just makes me wonder, like, did he lose respect for the 49ers by gaining 20 pounds, eating double cheeseburgers? I mean, there's a whole lot of nicknames that people gave him, double Deebo with cheese. It's funny, but, if he's on this team, we really need guys that are going to really put their full effort out and try their asses off, pardon my language. But I still wonder if he lost respect for the 49ers. Also, I think most of us watched him get into it with Tabor Pepper and Jake Moody. So, that's pretty much unacceptable to me. At least as far as, the Niners and how long I've been watching them. Having animosity in the team isn't a good thing. Now, people pushing each other and, actually getting their feelings into the game is awesome. I enjoy watching guys get heated because that creates more spirited training camps, more spirited preseasons. And I mean, we got guys that are trying to battle for a 53-man roster. So there is a lot of pride and a lot of effort that goes into this whole offseason. And, that's to be expected. But you don't really pick fights with your team members as we watched Deebo do with Jake Moody and whatnot 2 years ago. So, I mean, again, are people happy that everybody is, or that this freaking Deebo is, come back? I don't know, it's kind of a controversial move to me. I mean, why didn't we just go get Stefan Diggs? I think he's better at this point of the game, but everybody obviously knows, that Deebo knows our system. Deebo is supposedly like great friends, best friends with Kyle Shanahan. I mean, I don't know if you guys have actually heard throughout the years, but Deebo after games and during the week would go in and just sit in Kyle's office and talk for hours, which most of the teams, or I should say most of the players on this team don't do that, but I don't think most of the teams actually have their players just go hang out with the coach like that. So I don't know if Deebo being back is beneficial for our offense, because is Kyle going to try to force feed him? That is one of my biggest questions. If Kyle is trying to force feed Deebo, does that make some of our younger players not actually get time? Now, we're going to talk about some of the younger players here in a while, but I'm really questioning a lot that goes into this offseason. But again, really curious about what people think. Was this a smart move for the 49ers bringing Deebo back? Let's get on from that. Obviously, I think a lot of people know now, at least, that Paraag Marathe is gone. He's been, I believe he came in like 1998 or 1999. I could be wrong about that, but he's been around this team for nearly 3 decades. And that is a huge move in this team. I mean, he's had an enormous influence on our team. And I'm, again, asking you guys questions. Are people excited about Paraag Marathe being gone? Are people worried about Paraag Marathe being gone? Okay, so Paraag came in 2001. Thanks, Cubs. Still, that's 25 years of him being on this team. That's a long time. I mean, we have fans that have been watching this team for the last 25 years, unlike myself or other people. I've been watching since 82. Well, I've been dressed in red and gold since 82. I've been watching since about 86 or 87. I got to see the great teams and, I mean, what football used to really be like. So I'm really curious of what people have to say about Paraag not being here anymore. And I'm really curious to see what happens with him being gone moving forward, because it creates a lot of questions. I mean, what do you guys think about, like, who's going to take Paraag's spot? Does John Lynch get more power? Does Kyle Shanahan get more power? Who's going to start working these contracts? Who's going to start trying to put these numbers together to see how many players we can actually have, and how the freaking money is going to work for everybody? There's a lot that goes into Paraag being gone. So again, that's just more questions that I have. I mean, you guys can ask and answer for me if you like, but he's really been a big influence in this team. But he was responsible for all of our contracts, or at least 95% of them. But was that good or bad? He centered a lot of the building philosophy around him because he was the one working the numbers. So that's huge. That's huge moving forward without having him. Is it is it beneficial? If he's in control of spending, it's a gigantic influence on the team building, isn't it? I mean, again, I would like to know what you guys think, but Paraag's been around for 25 years. We have had players much are still part of this team and still like involved in this team that haven't been around as long as Paraag has, and we have fans that have been watching this team that haven't been around as long as Paraag has. So anyway, Paraag's gone. Curious to know what you guys think about it. Next, let's touch on Kyle Shanahan a little bit. I think a lot of people already know that obviously he was in a car crash. He, is expected to coach, but so far he's going to have a limited role, and he's going to have a limited role over the next month. So does that affect our practice? Does it change who runs drills? If the assistants take more responsibility, does it help or hurt our team? And in all honesty, is it going to change how the next 17 weeks unfold after preseason? With Kyle being out, is it a gigantic influence as well on our team? Is it going to hinder our team? So this whole live is really just a lot of questions for me, and I'd really like to know what you guys think. Next we got, is Kyle being out gonna make other people more vocal? Are the assistants going to step up? Does it force people into different roles? We often talk about injured players, but we don't really ever talk about injured coaches. I mean, along the NFL, there's not really a lot of coaches that end up leaving the team or having to sit out the team because of concussions. I mean, this is kind of very rare in the NFL. Now, moving forward from that, talking about injuries, let's talk about our recent draft. How do we look at this draft? Is it a failure? What do you guys think? And I'm not saying that the players are busts. I'm asking a different question. If your draft cannot stay on the field, how do you evaluate this class? And during this training camp, we've already seen a lot of our recent draft get injured. I'm not going to go through the names because there's a lot of them, and I'm trying to keep this live a little bit limited, but there's a lot of guys that haven't made it through training camp, and I'm really curious to see what happens. But again, if they can't stay on the field, does that make this draft class a bust? If these guys lose practice reps, again, how do we evaluate them? And again, another question is like, in 5 years, what do we say about this draft? Was it an utter failure, or are we going to say that this draft was talented or cursed? Just all these guys losing time obviously determines their development. So there's a lot that goes into 4 guys from this draft being drafted that are no longer actually able to practice. Are they going to make the 53-man roster? Are they going to be on the PUP list before the season even starts? Are they going to be on practice squad? Where are these guys going to make the roster to begin with? There's a lot of questions that are going into our training camp, and I think at least as of week 1, where today's the official day of ending week 1 of training camp, I think I, again, have more questions than I do answers. Next, we got the Hall of Fame game is this week, guys. We got, Panthers versus Cardinals. That's going to be August 6th, this Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern. I am excited about this because there's more than just the Hall of Fame game. This is the start of football. This means that preseason is here. Football is back. how long have we waited? I mean, every off season, it seems like it gets longer for us to wait until we actually have football back. And I know it's the same for a lot of fans across the league, but football is back this week. We actually get to watch real football. So that's pretty awesome. But Cardinals versus Panthers. Does anybody care about those teams? Obviously, the Cardinals are our division rival. So I'm definitely going to be watching. I'm curious to see what you guys think and if it even has much of a effect on our development of what happens watching the Cardinals play this week. Now, another big thing, and I see that Cubs just touched on it, but anybody who watched our team back in the 80s and 90s knows that Roger Craig was absolutely amazing. He was one of the most entertaining and obviously producing players on our team, and one of the biggest reasons that we won some Super Bowls and got into great positions throughout the late 80s and 90s. Well, he's been passed over in the Hall of Fame a few different times now. He should have been in the Hall of Fame, I think, years ago, but this year he is being inducted into the Hall of Fame, and that is gigantic. It's much deserved. Roger Craig absolutely deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. He revolutionized football for the 49ers and was just an absolute amazing player. He's one of the first autographs that I got, and I loved watching him play. I mean, that guy, God, he could run, he could jump, he can move through people. He's just amazing. So it's really great to see Roger Craig actually being inducted into the Hall of Fame. And again, I'm super excited about this week's football because, again, football is back. This Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern, Cardinals versus Panthers. Now, this is going to start creating roster cuts, right? Preseason's back. We're creating position battles in the league. We're creating roster cuts, and we're going to have a lot of teams starting to decide their 53-man roster and who makes it and who doesn't. So back to us. Who has the most to gain over the next 3 weeks? That's another question I'm putting on you guys. Out of everybody on our team right now, who has the most to gain over the next 3 weeks of preseason? There's a lot of people that are trying to make this team. There are a lot of players that are scraping tooth and nail to try to get onto this roster. And again, there's going to be some people on the PUP list. There's going to be people on the practice squad. And there's going to be guys like Ricky Pearsall that I really do not even think are going to be on this team at all this year. But I know for a fact we do have starters that are starting on the PUP list. And that kind of creates a little bit of controversy for our 53-man roster. But all in all, this whole offseason and training camp, everything that we've seen so far, again, creates more questions for me. It's not really about what we have seen happen, but it's more like where this team is moving, because I do not think it's the same team anymore. I think the whole entire team is changing before our eyes. We've seen so much happen this offseason and training camp that I don't think today's story is Deebo getting back in shape for the Commanders and then coming back to us. I don't think it's Ricky Pearsall. And does Deebo even respect the 49ers if he got back in shape for the Commanders and then now coming back over? Is he going to be double Deebo with cheese again? Again, those are other questions, but where I'm really going is the story is how much the organization is changing with all the new voices and the new roles that people are taking and the people that we're losing, like Paraag and everything else. I think the whole entire organization is changing right before our eyes, and really is a lot to talk about, a lot to take in. Are we the new voices, the new injuries, we have new pressure and a whole new set of questions. Again, this whole live to me is just questions. I'd like to know your guys' answers or your guys' input on it, but there's just a lot more questions after 1 week of training camp than there really are answers. Now, the 49ers may look the same this year coming out on the field, but I believe that they are not the same. The whole team is changing before our eyes, and the organization is changing as a whole. So there's really, really, really a lot of questions that are going into it. But I'd like to know what you guys think about all the questions I've asked. There's probably 100 different questions I've asked in this live, and I'm very curious to see what your guys' thoughts on it. And I'm going to try to take your guys' answers or opinions and try to put them into some more videos this week for other shorts. And I'm going to try to continuously do my lives on Sunday. I appreciate everybody being here. Once again, I'm Dave. This is Eddie D's Niners. Congratulations, Roger Craig. I hope Kyle Shanahan heals completely. Obviously, he has the fractures. He fractured his nose, fractured his ribs, fractured his hand, 40 stitches in his face. And, it's more important that he's alive. Football comes second to that, but just glad that he's okay. And, I think most of us heard the story that he took the blame, that he was reaching for his phone, took his eyes off the road. Just glad to see that he's okay. Again, I'm Dave, the Eddie D's Niners. Glad you're all here, and I'll see you guys on the next one.